Hey, I hope you see me well. In this video, I will tell you how to travel without fear. So, how to travel without fear is a question that a lot of people are asking me when they know that I'm traveling and when they know that I'm backpacking. Most precisely. So, I have my tea right here and I will tell you a little bit of tea as well. To answer the question right away, you cannot travel without fear. You cannot backpack without fear. You cannot solo backpack without fear. You can. And I don't know if you have seen my other videos when I'm talking about my backpacking experiences, giving you advices on what to do, what not to do, how to prepare your backpack to start backpacking or stuff like this. But I always have a notebook. And right now I just have my tea. I don't have a notebook because I don't need a notebook for that. Because the answer is no. You cannot travel without fear. And the problem is that there's a lot of people that I met and a lot of my friends, when they know that I'm backpacking, they ask me this question: how do you backpack without fear? And usually they say, because I would love to backpack. They said it always been my dream to backpack, or I would love to try to backpack. But the problem is that I am just so afraid to backpack, you know? And you're so brave and you're so courageous to do this alone. How do you do this? How do you do this without fear? And I'm like, I don't do it without fear. I do it with the fear. And I don't let the fear control my life. And I fucking know it's easy to say and it's harder to do. But you know something that I've learned from this, from backpacking alone with fear, is that the fear that you feel will make you imagine a lot of bad scenarios that are not happening when you're traveling. Or even if they're happening, it's either you get out of those situations way less harm that you imagine, you bounce back, you learn a lot about them, you learn a lot about yourself. And I will tell you, for example, what are the fear that I had, okay? Because you have a lot of fear. But the problem with those fears about backpacking and traveling alone, more precisely, even if it's not alone, but it's always seems more like scarier when you do this alone, okay? And usually those fears are just excuses. And the ones that I had was, what if I ran out of money? Because I left with some money, you know, and because it's something that I prepared. And I saved a lot of money to go backpack, and then I've been scammed, and then a lot of things happen that have been filmed because I've been vlogging my backpacking life. So you can go check on my channel other videos, past videos where I'm filming it. Usually I'm like, you know, if I run out of money, what can I do? What will I do? I will have to come back to France. Guess what? It happened the first country I've been traveling to. The first country I backpacked was Greece. I ran out of money because of multiple things, personal things that happened prior to that, prior to me leaving. And then when I was there, a lot of things happened, like I've been scammed or something like that, and I lost money. So I quickly ran out of money. And I was like, what do? I don't want to go back to France, you know? I don't want to go back because I would have feel like a loser, you know? And I was like, what are other people are going to think about it? Because I've been talking to whoever wanted to hear that I wanted to travel the world and I wanted to backpack and find, you know, some jobs in the countries that I will be visiting. It didn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way at all. But it's okay. because I learned how to bounce back. You know, the fact that I was in situations where I needed to act and I needed to find solution quickly, I would double, you know, my research of volunteer places, so at least I will not have to lose more money on hostels. I would have to take risks and to take some decisions on, it's either with the small money I have left on my bank account, I go back to France and I stop this, or either I take a risk and I go to a volunteer place in the same country, and then I will try to find a job there, because then I will have no money at all to either come back to France or either do nothing like that, of that sort. And the good thing when you're volunteering is that they are paying you the accommodation for you, they are giving you the food, you don't have to spend anything, okay? But in exchange, you help them and you work for them for whatever work they need for you to do, you know? So the fear of not getting any money, yeah, but it pushed me to not have any money when I was backpacking, pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I opened more, I like to say, like areas of my brain where I was thinking maybe before, oh, there's no way I would become a photographer because, you know, it's just, I don't have any diploma or stuff, and I ended up being a photographer. Because I was like, I will try and I will check any kind of job possible I need to find a job. And I did some cool job like that, you know, and I worked during the night as well at some point. That was fun. Guess what? I had no money, right? After Greece, I went to Egypt. And when I was in Greece, I had no money at some point. And I went to Sri Lanka as well after that. And I know, you know, there are situations where you have like a blockage in your head that if you do this, then you're a loser. Yeah, it's not happening as I want it to happen, but it doesn't mean that I didn't do it. It doesn't mean that I was not a backpacker. I was a backpacker for almost a year at that moment, okay? After that, I backpacked again. And it doesn't mean that I will not visit the country that I want to visit and that I have in my head, you know, because I have kind of a list of countries that I want to visit. It doesn't mean I won't, not as I imagined. You know, I call this the genie metaphor. La métaphore du génie in French, which is when you ask a genie for whatever dream you want, you know, there's this thing where the genie will give it to you, but not as you imagine. It's the same thing with the universe. It's the metaphor of the universe. You ask the universe, if you're spiritual, if you're not spiritual and you don't believe in the law of attraction, it's fine. But if you do like me, then you ask the universe and don't fucking care about the how to get there. Just believe in the fact that you will get there. If you're thinking how you want to get there and it's not happening this way, you will feel like at some point that you're never gonna get there because it's not happening as you imagine. And because it's not happening as you imagine, you're starting to feel fear and you're starting to feel like, you know, it's not happening this way, so it means that it's never going to happen. It's not true. It's not because it's not happening as you imagine that it's not going to happen. You know? Everyone is acting this way, and I think it's more because of the societies that we live in, you know, that are, you know, creating us to be that way. All that to say that you cannot not have fear, but you can do things with it, and then you will quickly realize that those fears were parts, just your imagination, because everything's good and everything's all right. And the other part is that maybe it was not your imagination and things that you feared happened, yeah, but you're actually getting out of those situations stronger and it's not that big of a deal. And also, something that I always say is that I never really solo backpack. Even though I'm leaving, you know, the countries alone, I met amazing people and I have them in mind that helped me. And I'm not talking helped me with like giving me some money, or I'm not talking help me with like doing the thing for me, or like, you know, or finding solutions for me. I mean mentally. I had people that were there for me, and I met people along the way that believed in me, okay? I met beautiful people during my travels that really believed in me and helped me. And if it's not helping me in the physical way, it's helping me in the mental way, which is as important as the physical way. You're never alone, but you have to get out of certain situations. I made a video of it. I made a video where, you know, I'm giving you advices on when you're backpacking, the difficulties, what you should do, what you should not do. I've done all of this. I did that. I gave you more informations, the websites you need. I gave everything in those videos. In this video, I'm talking to reassure you because the question is about emotions and about what you feel. So I feel like I don't need my notes, but when I'm giving you more information like the websites and, you know, then I have my notes, and you can see on my channel, I have more videos like that. But it's just, it's like, it's partially in your head. It's partially in your head. And also just please keep telling yourself that it's not because you fear something that it should stop you to do the thing you want to do. And the things in plural. You know, like, it's not the fear that should stop you. The fear is here to tell you that there might be a danger. If you want to feel better about all those situations that I've been through, and I went out and I got out of those situations, go check my channel. Prepare yourself. But it doesn't mean you should not go. Before I would backpack, I had people from my family telling me, yeah, but what if? Yeah, but what if? Yeah, but what if? And at the end, because at the beginning I was answering all of them, and at the end I was like, okay, I can't answer all your questions. And also, if I don't go because of this, I'll never go. What if COVID comes back? It's a question that I've been asked, which never was gone, actually. But what if there's like, you know, like a pandemic like before? Then I will see. I will see when I get there. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be careful, but it's just not going to stop me to get there. Okay? If you fear of a danger, then prepare yourself. But the fear shouldn't stop you to get there. And I know it's so easy to say. And I was the kind of person, I froze. I wanted to do what I'm doing right now years prior to that. I started, you know what? I started to work, I was 15 years old. And with this money, I would travel the world with it. I always knew I wanted to travel. It's always been my thing. I was just so afraid to do this. I had many excuses. So before backpacking, what I was doing was being an au pair. But I actually, back then, when I was an au pair, I was around 18, 19 years old, I wanted to backpack back then. I didn't know the word backpacking, but I wanted to go and to be free this way. I had the definition of it. I just didn't know the word of it. I just didn't know the word. There's situations who will make your life harder. I hear you. I hear you. It always depends. There are certain situations, they will make your life harder than your neighbor. I hear you. And I also know, you know, like money is a big thing. But if I traveled without having much money on my bank account, you can do too. I'm not saying it's easy. But if it's possible, yes, it is. So to finalize this video and answer the question how to travel without fear, and to summarize everything, you can't. You have to travel with it. Take care.